Hey guys, welcome back. So those of you familiar with the channel or familiar with Rue 2001 Subaru Forester, it's got the automatic transmission in it, and you guys will recall that when we were crawling around underneath this, there's a small leak from the transmission pan. So the RTV sealant there's leaking. So we're gonna, that's the main reason we're doing this job. But if you hop on some of the Subaru forums, a lot of guys are recommending changing the fluid every time you change, or changing part of the fluid, sorry, every time you change your oil. So you can't actually get all the fluid out. You can get about 4.5 quarts out when you drain the pan with the bolt down there, with the drain bolt. But you can't get the fluid out of the torque converter, obviously. So what some people recommend doing is doing 3 flushes with the fluid. Some people just do, replace 4.5 quarts every 3,000 miles and you're fine. So we're going to do 1 at least, just so we can seal the pan. But I did buy enough fluid to do it twice. So, you know what, maybe we'll do it twice in the name of science. Alright, so here's what you're going to need to do the job. Obviously some Dextron 3 at least transmission fluid. I went with Mobile Dextron 6 ATF, which is a synthetic blend. It's hard to come by the regular old 3 stuff in my town anyways these days. Everything's switched over to synthetic, which is better. And this should actually improve performance on the transmission, it says. Yeah. Optimize friction properties, that outstanding resistance against sludge, deposit formation, improved anti-wear protection, helps prevent transmission vibration, all good stuff. Smoother gear shifting versus Dextron 3. So it is an improved fluid. So I think we'll be okay with this. So I guess when you pull the drain plug on the pan, you end up dropping about 4.5 quarts roughly. So we have enough fluid here to do that twice if we want to. You're also going to need well, you should replace the filter. There's an external spin-on filter. I got the Napa version, Napa 1365, just because that's what was in stock. You're also going to need a 17mm wrench or socket to get the drain plug out and replace it. Have some copper crash washers on hand for that too, same as the oil filter plug, or sorry, the oil pan plug. Torque wrench, 3.6 foot-pounds is the torque, and one of the recommended crossover RTVs is Permatex 599, so we do have that. Although the setup time for the right stuff is 90 minutes, and it is also recommended for oil pans and transmission pans. So I'm going to go with this just because of the shorter wait time, but either one will do. And 10mm impactor socket for removing all the bolts in the pan itself to drop the pan, if you're going to drop the pan to reseal like I am. Obviously, you don't need to open the pan if you're just replacing the fluid. And make sure you have enough room in your catch pan for at least 4.5 quarts per drain. Okay, that right there is the drain plug for the transmission, which we're going to now head to. Okay, let's see if I can get you guys set up here. Here's the reason we're in here. We've got, it's hard to tell, it's a little wet here. Can you tell? I did retorque it a couple times now and it's not sealing. So we are leaking. So let's just get it done. Okay, we'll get the pan kind of close. sight. Jesus. Somebody did not want this leaking. Okay, I need a ratchet on that. Okay, by ratchet I mean the biggest breaker bar we got. That's fine. There we go. By the way, before you do this, you should let the engine and transmission completely warm up, which I did. I had it running outside when it got up to operating temperature, so this is warm fluid. Ooh, settle down. Yuck. Not the cleanest looking fluid, but it also doesn't look too bad. Doesn't smell burnt, which is important. I'm going to taste it. We'll let this drip out here for a while. We'll go get a strap wrench to get the filter off here to make it easier. Okay, so here's the filter on the driver's side of the pan. Looks kind of like an oil filter, engine oil filter. I'll just spin this old one off. Hopefully this isn't going to make a giant mess. Oh, it's really loose. Probably could have done it by hand, guys. Be prepared for fluid. Should say be prepared for fluid in your hair, in your eyes, and your, you know, halfway up your elbow. It's gonna happen. Okay, that's done about enough, so we can grab some clean ATF fluid, lubricate the O-ring on the filter, and we can spin any one of those on. Stick the plug back in loosely. I actually think we'll tighten that up before we forget. Okay, now we can zip out all our 10 millimeters. Okay, we might need a scraper to get this off of here. Yeah, probably. Okay, I'll grab one. Just a scraper should do it. Oh, she's gonna need more than that. I'm gonna have to get a little pry bar. There we go. Now we got started. Once you got your scraper started in there, just kind of work it around. Cut the RTV. You'll get it. It's just takes a little patience. You want to make sure you try to cut around it if you can. If you start prying on one side too much, you can just deform this thing and you'll never get it to seal properly. That wouldn't be good. So just put your patience hat on and work your way around it. There we go. Here comes the mess. Have your pan ready. Well, let's get this out of here. Well, that's what the underside looks like. And back here is where I thought we had a leak. It's hard to tell now, of course. Yeah, we'll get this surface all cleaned up with a plastic scraper for now. I'll try a plastic scraper. We don't want to mark that up and score it necessarily. And here's our pan. Magnet here. I've got some sludge on there, but this thing is 24 years old. So make sure you clean that off. And you clean the inside of this pan out. Yeah, it's a little sludgy, but not too bad. I'm going to give this a wipe out, spray it out, and then we can see if we can get this cleaned off. Okay, I'm going to clean up this gasket crap with a plastic scraper and see how that goes, and I'll come back with you guys. Okay, but are mostly cleaned up here. Do yourself a favor and get yourself some of these plastic razor blades. They come in a pack of like 100 with even with a handle, but I usually just use them without the handle and just run this along the surface, and man, it does a great job of quickly cleaning, and then you just clean up after it with a brass brush. But it takes almost all of it away without even marring the paint. Works great. We'll just hose this off a little bit with some brake clean. Give her a quick wipe down, and then we'll blow it out. Really looking good, so maybe let's give it one more wipe out for good measure, and then we'll plunk the magnet back in and we should be good. Clean piece of paper towel. Okay. Okay. Look how nice that razor blade works on these aluminum surfaces. And zero fear of screwing up the surface, that's for sure. You're not going to mar it up with a piece of plastic. Let's try up any large boogers so we'll get a bunch of drips onto our pan while we're trying to get it in place at least. Okay, time to throw on a bead of silicone. Okay, let's get that onto the car. That's where she wants to live. Get all these hand tied in here first, and then we'll torque them. Oh, there's a lot of bolts. Couldn't get the right angle with the exhaust in the way with the socket, but Phillips screwdriver goes in there just fine. And then you get more angle. More angle for the dangle. Okay, 3.6 foot-pounds. It's very little. Okay, gone all the way around. Now we gotta wait 90 minutes for that stuff to cure. Don't have to put fluid in there, so. Yeah. I'll clean up under here and see you guys after. So here's the fluid we got out of the transmission. So 3.78 liters per jug, so just shy of 4 quarts. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Probably 5.5 or so. Something like that. So we got to make sure we put about that much back in. So 5 quarts in a jug. So we'll probably put about a jug in and then see where we're at. We'll test it real quick on the cold level and then we'll fine tune it on the hot. Hello and good morning. And yes, it is the next morning. I let this cure for 90 minutes. Had something to eat, had a shower, and thought, why not let it cure overnight? Plus, you know, I got lazy. So it is what it is. So today we need to put the fluid in, let it get up to temperature, check the level, run it through all its gears, take it for a test drive, see how she did. So, gonna need a nice long skinny funnel, transmission funnel, and this thing has 2 dipsticks, well 3 if you count the engine oil. One you can see just down here, the yellow guy right there, that's the transmission one. What a lot of people don't know is over here, down in there, let me see if I can get some light on it. That yellow little dipstick right there, that's for the front differential. So do not at all mix those two up. Don't add the wrong fluid to that, you'll be in trouble. So we want to be adding fluid to that guy. Here it is. And there are 2 lines, 2 markings on here. And you can see it says, I don't know if I can read it on camera, it says cold here, and we got these 2 dots, and hot up here, and we got these 2 dots. So initially we're going to ensure we're within these 2 lines during cold, because you don't want to run a transmission low on fluid. So once we're in the safe zone cold, we'll let it heat up, and then we'll fine tune the level on hot, and that's very important. on, let me shove it in your hole. There we go. Okay. Drink up, little buddy. Not the quickest fill. Little funnel's pretty skinny. Kind of like the smell of transmission fluid before it gets burnt. A nice smell to it. Okay. She's in there. So you know how the transmission fluid continues to run out of the funnel? You can't get it in. You can't get a towel in there to dry it. You can never get it out, and it just ends up on your shelf. Just stuff a paper towel in there. Store it standing up. Everything will get soaked in the towel. You won't never have a mess. Just put some heat to it. If you couldn't tell what I was doing there, I was running it through all the gears from park down to 1 and back up slowly. And now we'll check the cold level real quick. So we're low even for cold still, so I'm going to add some more fluid. Also, if you've just added fluid, you'll notice there's like a smear all the way kind of up the stick. Just wait a few minutes and then recheck it. It's just because it's still in the tube on its way down there from filling. So it's hard to read the stick then, but you got to look for the solid line across or wait a few minutes. So I'm going to add a little more here. Okay, now we'll let the sink come up to temperature. I'll bring you guys back when it's hot and we'll check it. Okay, just underneath checking for leaks. Dry on the filter. Main plug's dry. Good. Awesome. We'll let this come up to temperature the rest of the way and then we can check our levels one more time. So I've got Rue up here on the hamster wheel, so it's like we're driving 20 miles, even though we're not. Engine's up to temperature. And for you Rue fans, the air conditioning works and it blows cold. I can't even believe that. That's pretty incredible. Hadn't dawned on me, I hadn't even tried it until this day, but... Alright, let's check our level. And we are still low. And with that, we're right at the top on the hot scale, so nothing left to do, take it for a test drive. So I'm going to take it off the quick checks here and we'll go for a rip. Okay, we're back and that went well. Previously I had actually a bit of a harsh shift in first to second gear transition, and that's all smoothed out now. So that, you know what that is? That alone was worth the change of the fluid, going to the semi-synthetic, but the blend. But also, I did have that leak in the transmission pan, so that was the main reason we were in there. So that's also solved. So yeah, final word of wisdom, if you're just doing the pull the plug and drain the fluid, you're going to get about 4.5 quarts you got to replace up top. If you're going to also change that spin-on filter, if yours has that, then you're going to look at probably, I think I was about 6 quarts. So, and I'm good with that. I didn't have enough fluid to do it twice, to do a flush. If you're just doing the drain plug, you probably could cycle most of the fluid out by doing this 3 times and driving a little bit in between. But honestly, with taking 6 quarts out at once, I'm happy with that, and it made a big result difference in how it drove. So we're going to call that a success. So with that, thank you very much for watching, and if I helped you out in any way with this video, please consider liking, subscribing, share it with your friends if somebody else is working on a Subaru. Honestly, a really easy job to do. So thanks very much. Catch you on the next one.